This is the piece that's going to be the tabletop. I glued this up off camera. It's 5 boards. It's all joined together with dominoes, and it's very flat, which is nice. The final dimensions of this are going to be 24 by 48. The width of this right now is 24 3/8. Correct. So what I want to do is I want to take 3/16 off of each side. I've got the saw set up to do that, so. I've got the piece down to 24-inch width, and I need to cross cut on both ends. I need to make it 48-inch length. I have a large cross-cut sled, but still a piece like this is very large to use on something like that. It's very unwieldy. So I could use a circular saw, but I do have a track saw, so I'm going to use that. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to use these things that are called quaz rails, and they go into the bottom of the track here. I've got a couple dogs set up here. I just need to push those up against there. This will come down into these holes. Just bring this up. I just want to shave off an end. I just want to true up that one end. And again, this will be perfectly square. So I've got one end square. I just need to flip this piece around. I need to mark it for length, which in this case is 48 inches. I just need to kind of bump this until that mark lines up with this strip right here, and that'll show you exactly where my cut's going to be. Here's the top cut to size. I am going to put a decorative edge on here. I don't want to do that just yet. Before I do that, I want to take this and I want to sand it down to 120 as a start, then route the edge, then finish sand it. There's some little inconsistencies on the edges here. Not much, but just enough where it could throw that router bit off a little bit. I want to make sure that the profile on the edges on there are perfect. Again, I'm not going to videotape me sanding this, so after I do that, we'll go back to the routing of the edge. So I've got the top sanded down to 120. It's nice and smooth. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a decorative edge on this, and I've got my router set up. I've got a 3/4 inch roundover bit. And the reason I'm using such a big bit is because you have to figure your arm is going to go over this. I wanted something nice and round. But I still want something a little more decorative than just a complete round over. Plus, it's got to have a fairly steep incline to it. So, unfortunately, because of that, I'm not able to use the bearing on the bit itself. So, I've got my router set up with the edge guides. I've made a couple test cuts to get it exactly where I think I should. And now it's just a matter of performing the operation and even though I was very careful with the router, I know I had it set at the right speed, and it's a fairly new bit, so it's pretty sharp. no matter what, I'm still going to end up with some burning on the end grain. I mean, it's just the nature of the beast. But it's not too bad, and I've got some 60 grit sandpaper that I use for such a thing. And again, I'll sand this down. But just a little bit of elbow grease, not much, and these burns do come out. So I'm just going to finish up getting rid of these on the end grain sides and be ready for the next step.